Hey guys, welcome to Ask Omega Def NES, episode 5, in which I ask my insider Omega Def something about the NES. This time I'm just wondering, is Little Mac truly a boxing hero, or were some of those punch-out fights fixed?
That's a great question, Eric Bailey. I'm glad you asked. Hi, I'm 15-time world record holder and the man who made the Amazon break kayfabe, Omega Def. So, is Little Mac truly a boxing legend, or are some of those punch-out fights fixed? How dare you, Eric Bailey? Not only is Little Mac the best friend I've ever had, and he's an American hero and an inspiration to us all. He gave hope to every underdog who ever put an arm in their chest, pulled a dream out of their heart, and released it like a bloody butterfly, then attacked it like a violent lion. Little Mac might have been a lot of things. A loudmouth tiny kid from the Bronx, a xenophobic micropugilist, even a wearer of ladies' jogging apparel. But he was not in on the conspiracy. I'm not happy you asked me this, but for the time being, I'm contractually obligated to tell you the truth. Not even Mac knows this, so I'm glad it's just us. I'll confess. I'm sorry, Mac. When Mac and I were in high school, he got picked on a lot. I felt bad for the little squirt. I knew all he needed was a confidence boost, so I stole the vice principal's wallet and gave it to the biggest, baddest bully in 10th grade, the Gooch. He agreed to lose a fight to Mac in front of everybody. Now, the Gooch was despicable, but he was a man of his word, and so he took a shot from Mac that dropped him in front of the whole school. It was almost immediately after that Mac developed his trademark loud mouth, Napoleon complex, and he got his nickname. Little Mac's ego began to seriously swell. I mean, the guy's head got bigger than death breaths. He got it in his mind that he wanted to be a professional boxer. I didn't have the heart to tell him what I had done, and before I could, Little Mac dropped out of high school at age 17 to pursue his dream. I felt terrible, but if I couldn't talk him out of it, I figured the best I could do was hire him a hobo to pretend to be his manager, and to book him in the one fight I knew even he couldn't lose. Little Mac stepped into the ring for his very first match against Glass Joe. It was an extremely one-sided fight. With Little Mac's trash talking, Glass Joe basically beat himself. I thought this fight would get it out of his system, but to my surprise, he wanted to keep going. Up next came Von Kaiser. I knew there was no way Little Mac would be able to beat this mustached German southpaw. So, I did a little research, and I found out that he was connected to a neo-Nazi organization. He agreed to pay me $2,300 and to throw the fight, and I promised I'd never tell anybody. A decision I'm betting he regrets now. Before I knew it, Little Mac was fighting WVBA minor circuit title holder Piston Honda. Honda would have clobbered him too, if I hadn't already turned him into my own personal Manchurian candidate. Code word, applesauce. I was getting extremely exhausted, but Mac wasn't done. Next he fought Don Flamenco. I had to kidnap his girlfriend Carmen. I hid her somewhere in the world, and I told him I would only give him clues to her whereabouts as long as he agreed to lay down. He almost made it too obvious. You know, I never figured out what language they spoke on Hippo Island. Regardless, I found it pretty difficult communicating with King Hippo, so I stuck a fork in his belly and injured him just badly enough to not make him any kind of real threat. Along with being extremely wealthy, the Great Tiger was also very strong-willed, and he refused to take a dive. So, it gave me great pleasure to hide a neural disruptor in his turban and control him with an Atari joystick like he was in the Cobra arena of sport. Little Mac made it all the way to the WVBA major title holder Bald Bull. Bull was notoriously unruly. Senior official Mario had become fed up with his antics, so I made a side deal with Mario, and the next fight versus Bald Bull was a cinch. At this point, Mac had become obnoxiously cocky. I wanted to burst his bubble, but the guy wouldn't quit. After he breezed through a rematch with Piston Honda, I put knockout drops in Soda Popinski's 40. Bald Bull was still plagued by bad officiating, and Don Flamenco's lady friend had once again mysteriously disappeared. It started to look like Mac was unstoppable. I found out that even more than winning, Mr. Sandman likes cash. And I also found out Super Macho Man likes human growth hormone and not being reported to the WVBA commission. I couldn't believe it. The little slugger had actually made it to the dream fight. Unfortunately, I was neither able to bribe or buy Mike Tyson. Little Mac was in it all on his own. I felt bad because I knew he was going to be killed, but I felt good because I knew that he would never find out my secret to his success. But, to everyone's surprise, Little Mac actually beat Mike Tyson and became a legend. You see, he had more confidence than common sense, and somehow he managed to avoid every negative variable, and with a lot of luck, he accidentally found a way to actually win, because that's what heroes do. So, were some of the fights in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out rigged? Yeah. But it's more important that people believe in Little Mac than know the real story. Plus, I'm trying to avoid being indicted for racketeering. Again. And before you ask, there's no such thing as Mr. Dream. Wake up! Daddy isn't coming home.